God damn, all that Hall of Fame talk in the spaces. Sorry I'm late, everybody. We're going to get this thing going on. We ain't got nothing to talk about. All's quiet on the Eastern Front over here in South Florida. It's a muggy, cloudy day. And Mike McDaniel didn't have much to say today, but we're gonna see exactly what that was. And we're also going to go through all of the stats. We're going to find out how much our quarterback's improved, how much our team has improved on offense, and where our defense sits in relation to the rest of the league. We'll talk about all that, make it a short show. Get on out of here. Stay tuned. New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything. Good flipping afternoon, everybody. How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? It is afternoon / evening color commentary with your host, Culler. I am here to bring the commentary in this quiet Wednesday. Dolphins have the Patriots coming to town, coming off a couple big wins against some average teams, one bad team, one average team. We're going to see how things look now. And we'll see where we're at, how much we've improved, and where our offense and our team stands among the rest. We'll get to the defense, too. Not much has changed there, except we're starting to tighten up a little bit. But on this boring Wednesday, there's really not much news. Injury report remains about the same. Mike McDaniel has a presser today, and we will try to decipher what he said. Not much can be garnered from it. It'll be a short one. Yeah, short show. Not emulating anything, Michael K. Emulating how much it takes for us to figure out how to beat the Patriots, aka execute the way we have been. Good afternoon, Cosa Nostra. I see you. Of course, the first one in chat today, Luis Medina. Fins up, buddy. Chef Jew, of course, the ambassador. Jankety Jim. Sean from over Red, White, and Bills. Still feeling themselves after a victory over the Chiefs. What's up, Scott Jackson? T-Dub. Timothy Washington in the house. And, of course, Michael K. Bringing all the Bills hate. Jamie Reigart, how's it going? Raphael. Salute, buddy. FMP. Appreciate the compliment. Starting to get warm. Actually, it's starting to get cool around here. What's up, Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights? We're getting a front coming in right now. That's why it's so hot and muggy today. After these clouds pass through, it should be nice and cool. Here we're supposed to be getting some rain from that tropical system, but we'll see what happens. I have a feeling it's going to be blue skies and sunshine for this game coming up between the Patriots and the Dolphins. Matter of fact, I can have a look real quick. We'll be going over the tail of the tape on Friday for the upcoming game. Ain't really much to say about it. Patriots still having a tough season. Can't get out of their own way. But Drake May's starting to play well. Mike McDaniel had great praises for him in the press conference. We'll hear what he has to say about that. Miami currently 8-point favorites to beat this team. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have nice, partly sunny, 76-degree temperatures. Yeah, it's going to be a gorgeous day in Miami for the game. I look forward to going to it. Had a great time last week. Finally getting out of there with a win, man. It feels so much better walking out of that stadium with a win. My ticket agent called me, and I answered. I think I'm probably going to renew my season tickets just because, I don't know, the guy made me feel bad. But not without procuring a surprise for my mom from the ticket agent. I haven't told her about it yet. I got to get her to sign a waiver without spoiling the surprise. So we'll figure out how that's going to happen. Yeah, so I got offered to participate in something pretty cool for one of the upcoming games, and that was so we'll see how that works out. Before I get into the latest news of the day, make sure you're hitting the like button. 23 of you in here on YouTube, 13 hitting the like, 10 of you didn't do it. So get on that like button. Make sure you're clicking it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. If we have any breaking news or somebody feels like dropping a tailgate out of the blue, you'll know it. And if you want an easy way to get to it, go to tftgnetwork.com, our website, our centralized location for all that is the Fins Tailgate. Bookmark the page, make it your home page. So that way it's the first one that opens up when you open up your browser. You're reminded of how to get to us. Visit the shop while you're there. We got some great gear, all inspired by things you've heard on this show. Can be found nowhere else. Our own ideas, jokes you've heard around here at the tailgate, Some of the things y'all have said end up on t-shirts and coffee cups and hats. Just like the Tua Infinity and Beyond t-shirt. Get yours today because there's a rumor going around that Batman ordered like 300 of them. And so they're going fast. You can also get things like the Cook and Folk apron and a color commentary coffee mug. Guaranteed to make your coffee taste better. Or my name ain't Color. So get yours today. Again, hit the like button. That's the easiest, most free way to support the channel. But if you'd like to help us out monetarily, you can do that by donating with super chats, super stickers, Venmo, Cash App. That's $, the Fins Tailgate, or become a member. Like so many of you have, like Michael K, the Buffalo fan. One upping y'all, as he always does. He can't up Joe Riss, though. We need to get them back into a donation war again. Maybe Cap will bust out the liquor tonight. Speaking of tonight, at 8 o'clock, you can catch me. What's up to a Tuesday? Speaking of members coming in the building, everybody say hi to Tua Tuesday on this Wednesday. This media Miercoles. Those who know, know. But yeah, so make sure you're doing all the things to help the channel as much as you can. Tonight, 8 o'clock, I'll be on with Miss Fins, co-hosting with League Wide Wednesday. We'll give you all our picks and all our talk about the whole entire league, all of the games coming up for this week's slate. You can also catch Shake Money. Shake Money, because it's Wednesday, we'll have the Smoke Lounge. That would be tonight, and that will be, you can tell I'm going slow because I'm trying to get to the page. That will be tonight at 6 p.m. So that's when I'm going up. That means I got a hard break at 6 p.m. Plus, I got to get my apartment ready because mom's going to the dentist tomorrow. And she's going to be convalescing here for a couple days in recovery. So I got plenty to do tonight. So 6 o'clock, I'm definitely going to be done here by 6 o'clock because Shake Money's got the Smoke Lounge starting up. He's gonna probably go over what Gerard Mayo has to say in his presser today about the Miami Dolphins. He always usually does that on Wednesday. Then, of course, you can also catch him on Friday for the drive time and the open panel. The Redcoats are coming. That's a pretty cool thumbnail. Go check out the thumbnail that HP already made for drive time. The Redcoats are coming. It's funny. We got Tua Revere in the building. Or Paul Tagovailoa. And then, of course, if you want some other action around 7 p.m., you can hit up the Blitz Pickup. They got a show coming on Wednesday night. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I believe they go. And you can catch TFTG, alumni, fam, whatever you want to call them. Trustee Lewis. You can catch him over there at the Blitz Pickup. And the gig he's got going on with Tony. They do a great job over there talking to you real. That's the only way they bring it is real. And then, of course, I'll figure out something to do for tomorrow afternoon. But if not, certainly Friday morning, we'll go over the tail of the tape for the upcoming game against the Patriots. We'll do all that fun stuff on Friday. So the first bit of news, and really kind of the only news going around today, as you guys may have heard, former Miami Dolphins tackle Richmond Webb has made it through the first round of cuts for the Hall of Fame this year. He's a modern era semifinalist. So they break it up into different categories: modern era, past era, and then, of course, executives. The other first-year eligible candidates include Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Earl Thomas, Adam Vinatieri, and Marshall Yanda. The other semifinalists are Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Willie Anderson, Anquan Bolden, Jari Evans, Antonio Gates, James Harrison, Rodney Harrison, Torrey Holt, Robert Mathis, Steve Smith Sr., Fred Taylor, Palm Beach County's own, and of course Hines Ward, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne, Vince Wilfork, Palm Beach County's own, and of course Steve Wisniewski, Darren Woodson, and let's not forget Anquan Bolden is also Palm Beach County, born and raised, Pahokee High School. That is 3 candidates in the Hall of Fame from Palm Beach County this year. So shout out to my county. We got some ballers too, everybody. People forget, all them boys down in Miami-Dade, they forget we're up here too. And we send just as many people. Yeah, 3 of them, Sean. Just from my county alone, the little old Palm Beach County. We'll all be pulling for Richmond as Miami fans. We were having this discuss why I was late to the show today. We got up, spun off on a discussion in a space. Mr. Negative was holding a space, and Lewis and Vaughn Joe and a couple other guys were in there chopping it up. Kelvin about this Hall of Fame class and who gets in, and kind of the consensus is kind of sort of that Richmond don't make it in the first year. But we're still pulling for him. We're still, hoping for the best. We certainly, as Dolphin fans, think he deserves it. But I do want to point out, Vince Wilfork went to school right down the road from me, Santa Lucia's High School. Born in Boynton Beach, Florida. High school home of the great Lamar Jackson. And I just realized that Vince Wilfork's middle name is also Lamar. Drafted 21st overall by the New England Patriots in the 2004 NFL Draft. So, being that he is 4 years older than me, it is possible. Nope, not quite. Nope, not quite there yet. So he would have been going to Santa Lucia's the year after I left high school. I didn't realize he was that young. Wow. Anyway, I just had to shout out old Vince because, I just passed by his high school like today. Like it's right down the road. Fred Taylor going to the Great Glades Central High School, which is out in out west in the county. And Anquan Bolden also going to Pahokee High School, which is also just up the road from Glade Central out west there. But all sharing this great county of Palm Beach. What's up, Moyo TV? We're not sure, but from what the rumor is, Stephen D's actually working a real gig, producing for a radio show, working a soundboard or something. Yeah, running a radio station, yeah. I mean, he moved to Mississippi, so I'm guessing maybe something local there. But shout out to him for, making it to something real. Certainly had the talent for it. So that's the bit of news today. Richmond taking another step towards the Hall of Fame. And and if you didn't check it out already or didn't know, Odell Beckham Jr. released a nice little video yesterday on his YouTube channel. I didn't even know he had one or how new it is, but the YouTube channel is just Odell Beckham Jr. And he released a nice little quaint video about his journey into Miami and what he's been through here and all that, and kind of a nice little clip of interactions with the guys and things like that. You might enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. Gives sheds a little gives you opens up a little bit to Odell's personality, and it's not over the top like the Cribs kind of stuff or the stuff that the glamour stuff from TMZ. It's not over the top like that. Nice little well put together video, pretty short. Show you some of the life in South Florida, sunshine, ocean. I think it would be more hurtful for Webb getting snubbed. Although it's kind of given, Mike, that Webb will probably not make it. I mean, most guys don't in that position don't make it the first year unless they were like, Orlando Pace or somebody, or you know what I mean? Like, now you and I can know full well as Bills and Dolphins fans what kind of an impact that Richmond Webb and Keith Sims made when they first got drafted. In their rookie year, Dan Marino went to the lowest number of sacks in the league. So right then they made a difference right off the bat. We also, as I pointed out in the space, you remember that time besides the 70s when Miami had a running game? You might not remember that. Most young people won't remember that time when Miami had a running game. Uh, that was because of Richmond Webb and Keith Sims. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you're talking about, if you're talking about opponent respect, Michael K, then I get you. I mean, nobody wanted to deal with Bruce Smith either. Yeah, or Cornelius Bennett. But Richmond and Keith took care of them guys for the most part. Yeah, I'm talking about besides the Zonka era, Mike. I'm talking about, remember the time Miami had a running game that was not in the 70s? That was because of Richmond Webb. So, Dolphin fans see it from a different perspective. Like, we understand the impact that he had. But because we weren't winning Super Bowls and weren't winning, getting all the accolades, nobody around the rest of the league would agree. That one Super Bowl would have been, oh, we all know who Richmond Webb is. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm like, okay. A UPS driver could get yards behind Richmond Webb. All those guys we had back then were just mediocre running backs. I mean, they were the best we had, but they were all like nothing compared to the Emmett Smiths and the Fred Taylors of the world. Fred Taylor's suffering from the same problem. He might not make it in his first go either because look, what was Jacksonville all them years he was there? But people don't realize that Jacksonville was literally nothing without him. Like, they were only even on the map because of him. I look at Fred Taylor as Emmett Smith without all the accolades. People don't realize how good a runner he was. But I mean, you got other guys, Wisniewski. That's not a real household name anymore either, but everybody knows from watching that era, Steve Wisniewski's probably going to get in or should get in. Adam Vinatieri, first ballot, definitely. Especially because he's in a class of his own. If they're going to add a kicker, it's yeah, him, sure. You got guys like Reggie Wayne. Terrell Suggs is a good, interesting one. I think he probably gets in, being part of that vaunted Ravens defense. Then you got Reggie Wayne. And then there's Eli Manning. I know what everybody thinks about Eli Manning, but he has 2 Super Bowls and his last name is Manning. Pretty sure he's going to make it in, even with the 500 record. You know, you can look at it like Manning is the Hall of Fame elite manager. You know, if there's somebody that's ever been that, it begs a good question. Like, even if you're a game managing quarterback, what if you're the best game managing quarterback there's ever been? Isn't that a reason in and of itself to get in the Hall of Fame? You game managed your way to 2 Super Bowls. And let's not forget, had some important throws during those runs. It's not like he still had some talent. He still was putting the ball on, getting some killer. Look, he had the David Tyree catch, and he had the Plaxico Burress touchdown fade. You know what I mean? Like, and then the Odell Beckham Jr. throw, wasn't that the one to? Isn't he the one that threw that crazy pass or that amazing catch to Odell? Yeah, Brady was a game manager, so you guys, but he 7 Super Bowls. Michael K gets to the point where you're like, is it really game managing or is it just the system? And if you research the Earhart Perkins system, you'll realize that he was actually functioning inside that system. That system's designed to do what it did and look the way it did and move the ball down the field the way it did. You can call it dink and dunk if you want, but there's more to it than just dink and dunk. Dink and dunk is when you can't get nothing done, so you're hitting the check down all day. That's not what the Earhart Perkins system is. It just looks like it is because the guys are so freaking wide open. We assume they must be a check down. But that's different discussion. But you still make a good point. I don't think I think all quarterbacks are a game manager. That's precisely their job, Michael K. I think people take the semantics way too crazy on the word on game manager. They act like it's a pejorative, like it's a negative thing. Like, no, they're all game managers. Some managers manage to win and some manage to lose. It's no different than any other business. You got the floor manager or the store manager, and they're either making the company money or they're not. They're either winning or losing. Every one of them manages the game. Just depend, but only some of them manage to win. But people would say that's me being semantical. I think I'm taking the semantics off of it. Like, it simply is a very simple word. We ascribe a lot more meaning to manager than negative or positive than it is. It's just, that's what the quarterback is. You could replace the word manager with the old word we used to use, general. Same thing. Commander. He's the field general. He's the field manager. Some generals win battles and some don't. But they're all generals. You got me spun all out on semantics today, Michael. Okay, good job. I had nothing to talk about today, and you're giving me something to talk about. Oh, by the way, I need to get with you backstage one day and kind of need to have a discussion about, how you utilize these these analytics and numbers you're sending me and all that, because I want to understand how you're actually applying the stuff. Because to me, until I get a little guidance on what's in your mind, I can figure it out, but I spend more time trying to figure it out than actually utilizing it for something. So I got to get with you this week. I guess maybe this week, whatever you got the time. The next time you send me your numbers for the week, and just go over with me for like a half hour or something. Just give me some insight into how you're utilizing them. Anyway, but enough with the housekeeping. Oh, you did send them over today? Yeah, I'll check. Again, I'm not stupid to it. I see what you're trying to do by looking at the numbers. I just want to get your thoughts on and your your perspective on how you're actually utilizing them. What's up, Sherry May? Shake Money, what's up, man? Yeah, I know. It wasn't the greatest. But look, hey, we'll call it rust. Again, a mulligan. They either call it rust, mulligan. The good news is he likely won't have a game like that for another 3 years. That's the good news. It's kind of like when you're running high and you finally have a low, you're like, well, that sucked, but at least that ain't going to happen for a long time again. Well, Michael K, I think I've been jamming but just been one off on every one of them. So I want to get a little insight as to why I'm making a mistake on that one that I'm missing every week. You know what I mean? Like I'm tired of these, you know, 6-leg parlays that I hit 5 on, or it's like I feel like I'm missing something that I could see, like some bad EV or something. Because it's not that I'm missing, like, oh, it was close. It's like I'm horribly missing, like taking the Falcons plus 3.5 last week. Like, how could I ever see a blowout coming by the Broncos? You know what I mean? There's got to be something that could have indicated that in the odds as a bad, or let's say even if it was a negative expected value. You know what I mean? That would have been something to tell me, leave that one off or whatever. But I mean, I'm not trying to be all like technical yet because I don't have the bankroll to manage that way. But I still don't want to be dumb either, like just throwing stuff on. I've been actually pretty good at like, hitting the spread, putting the spread on like spreads on a parlay and adding to them because, you know, a good example was Tennessee a couple of weeks ago. I had them to cover plus 10.5. The market had them covering like it was like 7.5, and I added 3 to it because it's like, hey, if I would have taken the 7.5, Vegas would have screwed me and they would have lost by 8. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, well, what if I make it plus 10.5? Since I'm putting it on a parlay, I'm still getting a positive EV in the long run. You know what I mean? So, and getting good odds. So that's kind of how I've been constructing my spread parlays, and they've been working. I've been hitting like 99, like 90%. If you're talking about, missing one on each one, it's crazy. Well, I'll show if we get together, I'll show you what I'm talking about visually, so you can really grasp. I know you probably grasp what I'm saying, but you'll see what I mean by how it's working out when I like my methodology and picking them. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It makes a lot of sense. If I'm getting minus 110 on plus 8, well, and I can get minus 170 on plus 10.5. Well, yeah, that's a big difference, but not when I'm putting 6 of them on a parlay. You know what I mean? Like individually, they're great bets, not money makers, but collectively on a parlay, a money maker. So that's where I'm trying to figure out the one that I'm missing every week. I've got to be making a mistake on what its expected value is or something. I don't know, but either way, just dumb luck too. I got. It is gambling. Anyway, so let's get into some of these numbers right after you hit the like button. I welcome everybody that's chilling with me today. Not a very busy afternoon. The Miami Dolphins, according to ESPN Analytics, now projected. Well, we'll start with their football power index. We're up two spots this week. Ranked 18th in the power index, mathematical power index for ESPN. The Dolphins are projected now for a 7.3 and 9.7 record, so that still rounds to 7 and 10, but it's a little closer decimal point wise to the 8 and 9 mark and creeping up. The analytics site for ESPN showing the Dolphins with a 13.9% chance to make the playoffs. Some other sites have it different, a little more or a little less. Everybody knows I love my efficiency rankings, and the Dolphins' total offense or total team efficiency are ranked 23rd. Offensively, we've crept up to 21st. Remember, we've been sitting at 31st the whole season. Defense's efficiencies, we ranked 14th. And on special teams, we are still at the bottom of the barrel, ranked 31st in efficiency for special teams. We will move over to pass rush, run stop, and blocking win rates updated yesterday, November 19th. Through all of the week 11 games, not including, oh yeah, that does include Monday night. We haven't played Thursday yet. And what do you know? Creeping up now, making his first appearance on the list of edge pass rush win rate rankings. Ranked 10th in the league right now, Chop Robinson from your Miami Dolphins. Now ranked 10th in edge rush win rate. Well, at 14% realist, that would be 14 out of 100. So that'd be 7 out of 50. What is 7 out of 50? What would that be in odds? So 7 out of 50 times we'll make it. If you want to go to 3.5 out of 25 times, we'll make it. So yeah, Chop Robinson creeping up now, 10th in the league. Defensive tackle pass rush win rate rankings. Calais Campbell still holding down the 3rd spot. And Zach Sealer back in action and back up to the 14th spot. Tied with Daquan Jones from Buffalo. So our defensive guys starting to make appearances on these individual lists. 3 guys. We move over to, let's see, doesn't look like we have any individuals showing up on the offensive line rankings. Not anymore. I think it's because we're kind of really operating as a team. Team stats haven't changed much. In pass rush win rate, the Dolphins are ranked 20th, and run stop win rate, we're ranked 24th. And in run block win rate on the offensive side of the ball, we're ranked 22nd. And in pass block win rate, we are still ranked 14th. So still doing a decent job, staying a little bit above average on the offensive line. Our defense needs to pick it back up on the line. We've dropped in those numbers quite a bit. And that does, see if it reflects in the stats here. It should. Total defensive yards per game, the Dolphins are ranked 10th. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th. At 308 per game that we're giving up total. Passing yards per game. As you know, for a time we were sitting at first in the league. Currently, we're at 10th at 199 yards per game passing. That's still like massively low. I mean, the top 10 are so low, you don't ever see those types of numbers. And a lot of them are playing bad teams too that can't pass the ball. Let's be real. But we have given up a lot more to some better opponents. And that's starting to reflect, but we're still sitting at under 200 yards a game passing against us. Rushing yards against us, however, we are also ranked 10th, which, by the way, is a huge, vast improvement. We're sitting at giving up 109 yards per game on the ground. We were at a point this season giving up 139. And that's slowly been getting better and better and better. We held the Rams to next to nothing, 60-some yards. We held the Raiders to next to nothing. Raiders can't really run the ball anyway. But now that's crept down to 109 yards per game, ranked 10th in the league against the run. In points per game, not really our strong suit, but we're still about middle of the league, tied with the Washington Commanders at 22.1 points per game. Some notable other teams. Buffalo, for perspective, gives up 19.5 per game. Packers give up 21.3, Texans 21.5. And then everybody else that's top of the league is below 19. All with championship level numbers. So these are your contenders so far. If you're talking about everybody under 20 points per game, you got the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bears, the Eagles, the Lions, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Chargers. I don't think it's a small coincidence at all that those 10 teams those 9 teams or so are sitting at the top of the league. And a lot of that's helped by their offense, because going over to offensive points per game, you can see pretty much the same teams. A couple others jarbled in. The Dolphins sitting at 18.1 points per game scored on offense. Now, that's a really low number. It's not even worth looking at, because we know that we have had to dig ourselves out of a hole where we're sitting at, 12 points per game for most of the season. So it's obviously improved quickly. To go from 12 points per game to 18 in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's quite an improvement. So the sample size isn't large enough to say, okay, what about just in Tua's games? So we really can't do that yet. But after this game going into the Packers, I think it'd be fair to start looking at the points per game we've scored since Tua's been back as to what our realistic number is. we'll get to that when the hurdle comes. We'll see what happens against the Patriots this week first. But we're definitely creeping back up. That number is a number that's on the rise. So I wouldn't hold so much weight to that points per game at this moment in time. We have a lot to still prove. Rushing yards per game, Dolphins are sitting at 11th in the league at 122 per game on the ground. Not bad at all. I mean, 11th, I'd like to be a little higher, but I do like that 122 per game. Because we know it could probably be more. Passing yards per game, we still haven't gotten too much higher in the rankings. We're at 26, 25, 24th at 197 per game. But again, that's another number. That's, by the way, tied with the Cardinals. But that's another number that we know is trending upwards. So bringing our totals on offense, yards per game, we're sitting at about 22nd ranked in the league at 319 per game. Again, we all know that's trending upwards. And we'll find out after we play the Patriots with a nice 4-game sample size just how much that's trended upwards. So there's our numbers on offensive defenses since we have had the return of Tua and got a couple dubs under our belt. And let's be real. We lost to the Cardinals, we lost to the Bills, but we still put up good amount of points in those games. So our offensive production was still pretty decent in those games, and it should reflect that once we get our 5th game in against the Patriots. We can say a nice 5-game sample size is something to realistically look at. In the turnover department, we've got a -2 turnover differential. We're not anywhere near the top of the pack. We just haven't. I mean, lately we've been getting some, but we haven't been really producing them lately. On the other token, we're not really giving it up that much either. We've only given up, we're tied with a bunch of people at 11 turnovers. And that gets into Tua's stats and where they're at right now. And the quarterbacks in general. There's no point in looking at the quantitative stats right now because Tua has missed 4 games. There's just no point in looking at the quantitative stats. They're not going to compare. Unless, of course, you find a quantitative stat that competes with the other quarterbacks while missing 4 games. Those will definitely be mentioned because obviously if they're quantitative and he's still up with the pack, then he's overcoming those 4 games. Currently sitting at 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You could extrapolate that out. He's played 6 games. He missed 4. You could average it out if you want. It's comparable with the rest. Where he's shining right now is completion percentage. All of a sudden, Tua is finding himself at the top of the list, number 1 in the league, 73.4% completion rate, and that is first over Jared Goff's 73. His touchdown rate at 4.7% is tied with a whole bunch of people at 11th. Interception rate, we want that to be low. And it is fairly low at 2.1. 19th lowest, 18th lowest. Not too bad. There's a whole bunch of people right around that number. Success rate. Tua is ranked 6th in the league at 51.2% success. So he's successful on more than half of his plays. In yards per game, not a bad one to look at. Tua is ranked 11th right now, 240.5. And that is trending upwards. Top passer rating in the league, Lamar Jackson at 117.3. Tua creeping up the list here at ranked number 8 with 101.5 passer rating in the 6 games that he's played. I'll take that all day long. QBR also creeping up to now ranked 13th in the league at 60.3. So those numbers are definitely continuing to trend upward. We'll look at the accuracy. Now, Tua's air yards has gone down, traditional to what we're used to. So that may be why the completion percentage is increased a little bit. Whatever. It's getting the job done. His on-target percentage also number 1 in the league at 86.2. So on-target percentage throws out all of the throwaways and the spikes, the nonsense throws that don't matter. So anytime he's actually intending to complete a pass, his rate is 86.2%. Not bad at all. That's number 1 in the league. Bad throw percentage, he's sitting ranked 10th best. Tied with Derek Carr at tied with Derek Carr and Joe Burrow at 8th best, and that'd be 13.2%. The worst in the league is Anthony Richardson at 25.3%. So best in the league, Geno Smith at 10.8%. So Tua is sitting right around the top 10, top 8 in bad throw percentage. So that's not bad at all. That's great. He's also getting a low drop percentage too. Shout out to our receivers. It may look bad, but they're not dropping the ball as much. They're only dropping it at a 3.7% rate. Top of the league is Deshaun Watson at 9.5%. So y'all can shit on Deshaun Watson all you want, but his receivers are dropping the ball more than any other in the league. Jacoby Brissett coming in second. Jordan Love third. Jordan Love's bad throw percentage also 17.6%. That's towards the higher numbers in the league. Josh Allen 17.5. Taking more chances is what they're doing. Seems like. Now on pressure, I want to point out one other thing. RPOs. This would be number of plays out of the RPO. Tua is actually ranked 20th with only 27. 25 of them being pass attempts. Number 1 number of plays out of the RPO with 72 is Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts with 69 and Joe Burrow with 60. Believe it or not, Jaden Daniels is only 4th in number of RPOs ran at 58. Pass attempts out of the play action, Tua is ranked 33rd with 32. Jared Goff, number 1 with 102 pass attempts out of the play action. Now, again, these are quantitative numbers. Add 4 more games to Tua, and he probably is a little higher in that department. Pressure rate. Y'all know I love this one. Now, I just want to say, if you don't think that Tua is getting himself out of the pocket, even when the pocket's clean, like I keep saying, you're wrong. Because guess what hasn't changed? His pressure rate nor his pocket time have changed at all. Yet we see him scrambling out of the pocket and opening up the field for himself. He's doing that while even not being under pressure. He's doing it proactively, like a good quarterback should, to give his receivers and everybody time for the plays to develop without a pocket collapsing around him. If that pocket collapses, he's not in it. And he's been utilizing that a lot more, getting out of clean pockets. And if you don't think we're having clean pockets, we're having just as many as we've had all season, because Tua is now 36th in the league. 36th with a 12.5% pressure rate. The highest in the league is Jacoby Brissett at 33.3, so we should be able to get some pressure on him this week. And Deshaun Watson at 31.9. CJ Stroud, 29.2. Sam Darnold, 25.3. I mean, let's see, Patrick Mahomes, 22.4. Justin Herbert, 22.0. Now, Tua's pocket time still remains at 2.1 seconds, and that is now the lowest in the league. And the only one that has it that low. So what I've been telling you is true. He's been getting himself out of the pocket, even on clean pockets. His single game pocket time against the Rams, I believe, was 1.7 seconds. That means he's getting out of it before it collapses, before the pressure comes, when it's still clean. When we say, hey, if you were to just squirt out of the pocket here, you'd open up the whole field. Your receivers have much more time for things to develop and get themselves wide open, like we saw Jalen Waddle, like we saw Jonnu Smith this week. That's because he's getting himself out of the pocket even when it's still clean. And the numbers are supporting that. Again, this is the reason I look at stats. I don't look at stats to predict nothing. I look at stats to help me describe what I'm seeing. And the stats are supporting what we're seeing. That's how you know something is a little more real. That's when you say, okay, my eyes are seeing it and the stats are supporting what my eyes are seeing. You know, that's where we're at right now. We know those offensive numbers are trending upwards. It's a shame that we missed 4 games, that we just crapped out for half the season. It's a real shame because those numbers would be looking better. And by the way, realist, my lock for the week, again, is going to be whatever Jordan Brooks' over-under is at for combined tackles and assists. Whatever it is, take the over because he keeps smashing through it. You might even want to add Anthony Walker to that. Both with double-digit combined tackles last week. The week before against the Rams, Anthony Walker was 1 short of 10 with 9. So if you get 7.5, you get 8.5 on either of those guys, take the over. Especially this week when Jacoby Brissett is rocking a 33.3 pressure rate. I would definitely take a Chop Robinson sack this week. I'll take that. I can't see how Chop can't get home on Jacoby or Drake May. It'll be Drake May, but maybe Drake May can get himself out of the pocket a little more than Jacoby, whatever. But that pressure rate is a signal of their offensive line. We're 4-6, so we're 10 games in. We're 10 games in, and they have a 33.3% pressure rate. That ain't changing. That's something that has been built over the whole entire season. Matter of fact, we can actually correlate it really quick. I hadn't thought of it originally, but let's look at what Drake May's pressure rate is, if it's even on here. I don't know if he has a large enough sample size. Let's see if they've improved any with Drake May. Let me sort for pressure rate. Drake May is at 20.2%. So for those of you that think a quarterback can help an offensive line, you are right a little bit. They went from 33% on Jacoby to 20% on Drake May. Our offensive line is giving up 12%. So I still think I would still call for a Chop Robinson sack this week on Drake May. He may even run himself into one. If he's trying to scramble around back there, he may run himself into Chop. So keep a lookout for that. Also keep a look out for the pressure-induced interception. Remember the last time Jalen Ramsey faced a young quarterback against the Patriots, he got an INT, and that was Mac Jones. That's good, Michael K. What's up, Jermaine? That's really good, Michael K. See, that's that right there is a what do you call that? An edge, because we know what the matchup here supports a sack from somebody. So you could take Calais Campbell if you want, or Ogba, but the guy that's hungry for it is now facing an offensive line that has problems. You know what I mean? So, yeah, 10 games, 2 sacks. That's why the odds are under 0.5, but that's also why it's now a good bet to take the 1, in my opinion. Because the reason you're getting the low odds is because he doesn't have any. But the reason I feel confident is because of the opponent we're facing. So, take your choice. You know what I mean? I think he gets it. I mean, it's worth, if a person is looking for a little bit of EV, it's worth throwing that down on something. Maybe parlay that Chop Robinson sack with the over on combined tackles for Jordan Brooks. Put those two on a 2-leg parlay. And also, realist, we've been sitting at home. They have to come to us. We've been sitting at home in our own beds for two games now. I agree, Ghost. He probably is playing really well, and it will be closer. I don't think they're gonna. I think he wants to win, but I think that it's just gonna be. We're gonna overcome it. What we can't do is we can't do something like we did with Will Levis last year and get caught. You know what I mean? Because he's going to play to the zeros. He's going to play all 60 minutes. Ray, yeah, that's a good idea, Michael K. But better you than me, guys, because I have bad luck. So everything I'm saying is bad advice anyway. Even if they're good bets, I'll lose them. the difference is mainly Jermaine. Jermaine's asking what the difference is in the offense since Tua came back. Well, the O line got a little better with pressure, Jermaine. They were giving up a lot of pressure on our backups. Now obviously those backups could have done something to lower that pressure a little bit, but not to the tune of 12% like Tua has been experiencing all year. But I don't think it's the O-line improving as to why we're looking different now. First of all, the main thing is execution. I think that guys, maybe it's psychological, maybe it does have something to do with Tua being on the field where they feel like, you know, that the pressure to execute is greater because it's like daddy's home or something. I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Um, but what it really comes down to is Tua getting himself out of them pockets and opening the field up for himself and finding 9 different guys. I could point to that alone, Jermaine. Like if you look at the box score from all of our other wins last year, all of our losses, and you look at the losses and look at the box score of our opponent, and we're the only ones not doing that. Every time we lose, look at our box score of our opponent. They're throwing to 9 different receivers. Even when we won last year, we weren't doing that. I would give you the Jets when we shut out the Jets 30-0. Yeah, I think Tua hit like 8 or 9 different receivers that night. But it's not just so much spreading the ball around. It's what he's doing to be able to have wide open guys to spread the ball to. And I think that ever since the third quarter, at about the 7-minute mark against the Rams, something just hit him like, I'm just not going to stand there and take that punishment anymore. I don't care even if the pocket's clean. I want to get out of it and buy myself all kinds of time and open the field up for myself. I haven't looked, but I'm willing to bet his time to throw has gone up closer to 3 seconds because he's getting out of perfectly clean pockets. Just because the pocket is clean doesn't mean you have to sit in it. If you want to buy yourself some time, if you don't want to get the jitters, get out of there, and you've already pre-banked yourself extra time. Plus, you're changing your trajectory, you're changing your field of vision, all of that, to be able to see Jonnu Smith sitting there wide open, Jalen Waddle sitting there wide open. The windows change. You might be able to find a different window to thread the ball into some tight coverage. Whatever it may be, it's working. And it's allowing us to hold on to the ball. I don't think we have to force ourselves into longer drives. They're just happening naturally because we're executing. You know, that last drive against the Raiders, 4.5 minutes. We burned off 2.5 of it and made them use 2 of their timeouts. In that part of the game, that's not a lot of minutes, but that's an eternity when you talk about, you could call that a long drive, even though it was only 2.5 minutes. It's agonizing for the other team that needs the ball back. So all of that, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's definitely a big-time war number wins above replacement for Tua here. You know what I mean? No doubt about it. Is it still going to be enough? Is it still upper echelon? Well, what we've been seeing will play against the better teams. If he can find a way to continue to do that kind of stuff and not think it's different just because it's a better team or whatever. These teams aren't better teams if he's playing like that. They'll be just like any other team. The only reason the other teams are better teams is because they execute on offense. That ain't got nothing to do with what Tua's got to do. Tua's got to exploit their defense. The fact that defense is reactive. Well, it's more than that. That's the easy way to say it, Jermaine. That's the the narrative everybody wants to hear and solidify. But it's really just playing football. It's playing good football, dude. It's opening things up for yourself. He can go through those progressions because they're there. you know, they're not there when you're static in the same spot all the time. Defenses just key in on that. Even if you are going through your progressions, it's going to look like you're not. So he's getting himself out. He's opening up everything, the whole gridiron to himself. Exactly. It's smart ball, Sherry. It allows him to do all that stuff. So, yeah, reading the field, going through his progressions. The key is that those progressions are dynamic. They change. He might decide, at the last, first start of the play, he might decide, I got to go through them backwards because of what I see the defense doing. There's all kinds of other things just besides going through your progressions. But yeah, you could say that. You can have that narrative. You know what I mean? Not that I'm ascribing those motives to you, but you know what I mean. Yeah. There's no spot throwing going on. I mean, there is, but no more than that's any part of the game. I mean, there's always times you got to spot throw and whatever else. Whatever the play calls for is what he's doing. That's really what the difference is. If it calls for a systemic routine play, that's what he's running. If it calls for, hey, I can't let this play die without getting a first down, he's getting the first down. He's doing all the things that we've been expecting him to add on to his game for the last 4.5 seasons. And the thing of it is, after Buffalo and Arizona, he's getting back to the original stuff we were doing too. It's only going to be a matter of time before what happened against Jacksonville happens, where all of a sudden 3 plays and he's got an extra 182 yards and a tutty. Because of what we're doing right now, if we consistently keep doing it, defenses are going to get tired, worn down, and all it takes is one slip, and Tyreek Hill is gone. That's the key. We've got to keep sticking with it. Tyreek is being a consummate professional because he's understanding that it ain't just, I got to block or I got to do my thing. I got to be a cog in a wheel. It's that we have to do these things because the defense has shut down any opportunity for us to get Tyreek Hill to the house. This is what we have to do to open up the 2,000 for Tyreek. Now, that ain't going to happen this year. But my point is, if we'd have been doing all this from the beginning, from when Tyreek first walked in the door, Tyreek would have naturally got his 2,000 yards because it would have opened him up. So we're just going through this minutia until it happens. And then, boom, all of a sudden, there's 182 yards on 3 plays. We still have that capability. That's the sweet part of it. We're showing that we can do these long, drawn-out drives. We're showing that we can win the slugfest. But guess what? We haven't forgot how to hit the home run. They just ain't been there. The pitches just ain't been there yet. But they're coming. We just keep doing what we're doing and executing. The defenses are going to, the more you execute every play, because every play is so different, the defense gets to a point where they can't guess because anything you're doing works. And they just start getting into a snowball effect of just not being able to guess at all. Exactly, Sherry May. Proactive play instead of reactive. He's increasing his chances of success. Thank you, Sherry. That was the quick, concise, more articulate way to say everything I just said. Thank you. I'm gonna pocket that one. Proactive play instead of reactive. Is it enough? Is he as good as those other guys? I ain't convinced yet. But guess what? We're still alive, so he's going to have chances to prove that. Yeah, getting there, AB. He's getting there. And how I felt about bringing in the next tight end like that. I called him the next Tyler Kroft. Turns out I was wrong. He's definitely been an upgrade to our room. It's just now it's starting to culminate. You look back to Jacksonville and you say, damn, we just had a lot of tight ends dropping the ball that day. That was actually a good day for our offense. And the new stuff we've been trying to implement, like the new concepts and the new ideas of getting out of the pocket and all that. Tua was doing that stuff. Tua was hitting the tight ends. Remember, they were all dropping them all day. No excuse. I'm just saying, we have started to see this before Arizona and Buffalo. We have started to see this year. Tua just got injured. Can't have that. I bet you they don't put him on injured reserve next time, though, because he was ready to play and wanted to. That's the damned of it. That's the damn shame of it. Yeah, that's me saying this, believe it or not. That's me. I'm not a believer. Still ain't. When you talk about, are we going to see this kind of thing when everybody else is sitting on the couch? I'm not convinced. But I do know that we've seen what we've needed to see out of him for 6 quarters straight now. And I don't see any reason it stops. I don't think he's in his head or in his feels I think he's grooving right now. He's vibing, let it keep going. Come what may. I can tell you this, our season is far from over. And what started as needing an 8-1 run has now become a 6-1 run. Much more doable, especially with the way we've been playing. And it's not like Green Bay has turned out to be this big powerhouse. I think Green Bay is at about the level of the Rams, if you ask me. We can beat Green Bay. Maybe not in a cold, icy Lambeau, but whatever. We'll see. I mean, I know it's cap crypto. I know crypto. Sorry I didn't send the links out, guys. I just got my phone back. I left my phone in my mom's car earlier, and she just arrived and delivered it back to me. So I wasn't able to send the link out. Packers beat the Cardinals, you're saying, crypto? I know. Oh, I know why crypto is chiming in. I'm sorry, crypto. I didn't mean to blaspheme your quarterback, bro. I just meant that the Packers aren't like, I mean, people are acting like facing the Packers is like facing the Bills. Our defense practices against their offense every day. At least similar concepts, anyway. Oh, and Houston. Well, we got a chance to beat Houston too. So, and look, well, remember what I said, crypto, about the Monday night game. I told everybody it was a boring game. Other than if you're a Dolphin fan, you want to look at how C.J. Stroud handles a bad team like the Dallas Cowboys. And what does he do, crypto? But go out there and put the exact same number of points we did up, 34 on a bad team. So, yeah, it looks like Green Bay, Miami, Jordan Love, Tua, about equal right now, like as far as beating the bad teams. Like they did exactly what they needed to against the Cowboys. We did what we needed to against the Raiders, and all things are still equal right now. That's going to be a good matchup, man. I tell you, if we show up, obviously, if we execute, it's going to be a good matchup, man. And I don't think we've really seen that matchup yet, Tua versus Love. The McDaniel choice versus the Flores choice. Matt LaFleur versus Mike McDaniel. That ought to be a good one. I'm just hoping the weather isn't like so bad that it's just a bad football game. The problem is it's not going to be a dry snow if it does snow. It'll be a wet, ugly, icy snow. We just got to run the damn ball and run it and run it and run it and run it some more. And then when we're done doing that, we got to run it some more. That's all we can do. Everybody hit the like button. I'm just about wrapped up. We got about 10 more minutes till Smoke Lounge starts with Shake Money. For a short show and short viewership, y'all are doing all right on the likes. We're about 10 short. Hit the like button before I shut it down. And make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Go to tftgnetwork.com. Bookmark it and make it your homepage because it is the best page on the web. Instead of it's Media Miercoles. So instead of Mike McDaniel, because I've got a short amount of time left, I think we're just going to listen to what Tua had to say today, since he's Zeus, and he's the only one that matters anyway. So I'll give you that. It only goes for about 9 minutes. It's about the perfect time to finish out the show for Media Miercoles. Those who know. That means Media Wednesday for all of you non-Spanish speakers out there. I was trying to find something that started with M. Media Miercoles. Oh, thank you, Sherry. Pleasure to meet you as well. All righty, let's see what Oos has to say today.
Tua, we've talked a lot about what Jonnu has added to this offense. What has Malik given you? What's the skill that's helped you there? And Odell's presence now that he's gotten more comfortable. What's he given you, as an extra dimension?
Yeah. Well, I would say that room has done a tremendous job.
Not I like how he was like, yeah, all of that.
Malik, we obviously know what Reek and Waddle can do, but what Odell brings, what River being back brings as well to the team.
Thank you, Oos, for mentioning the real deal River Craycraft and his importance, since the beat writer decided to leave him out. We all know why.
Just the amount of studying they do and the attention to details within the playbook, I think, have given them opportunities to get the ball in their hands. And you can see what they do with the ball in their hands, and it's very, very, very special. And it's
yeah, Jonnu turned out to be quite a better runner than I thought after the catch too. That dude can bust up some people. He's a little Charles Clayish.
It's fun being able to go out there and play with guys like that.
So what's your impression of Drake May?
Who? Say it again.
Oh no, he didn't just do that. Oh, it looks like it's accidental, but look at that grin on his face. He knows what he's about to do. Look at this. Listen real close.
But to go out there and play with guys like that.
So what's your impression of Drake May?
Who? Say it.
Who?
Again?
Drake May.
Oh, Drake May. Dude, I respect his game. I respect his game a lot. He's a rookie, so there's going to be bumps within his
journey. That man said, "Who?" Say it again.
Journey, but you see a lot of flashes of things that he can do, not just inside the pocket, outside of the pocket as well. I got a lot of respect for him, and looking forward to competing against him.
We in the media love storylines, narratives, but you and him could be going at it for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how this league is. It's how it goes. I wish him the best. In his career that he's just starting. Tough league, but with the right mindset, with the right people around him, surrounding him, I think he'll be doing good.
You went with a 6-0 record against the Patriots. A new coach over there, but you think Jerome Muriel is going to bring some similar defenses looks than as Bill Belichick did?
I'm not too sure. We're preparing for uncertainty if there is defensively, but it's very similar to the structure they've had over the past few years when Coach Belichick was the coach there. So we're looking to go out there and play the plays with what they've presented us over the years. And
in case you didn't notice, ladies and gentlemen, I don't lose to that defense.
and if we need to adjust in any way, we'll adjust.
There's been a stat flying around out there about Achan not having a drop as a professional. When did you realize his hands were really good for running back?
I would say last year.
Oh, pause. Beat writer said, when did you realize his hands were really good?
Got a glimpse of being able to throw to him, and it was really supreme with how he'd catch the ball, but that's sort of taken away because he runs very well too. So I would say from last year.
Mike was talking about a bit earlier about accountability. Some people have lost their starting jobs. Some people have lost their jobs in general. It's kind of worked, right? You guys, what personally did you do to enact accountability among your teammates when things weren't going great here?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a me thing.
Here.
This is a team thing. And it's tough when Mike has to have sit-down conversations with guys, in starting roles and having to maneuver through that because of the person that he is, in starting roles and having to maneuver through that.
Oh, wait.
Because of
when things weren't going
Listen
great.
to what he says here.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a me thing. This is a team thing. And it's tough when Mike has to have sit-down conversations with guys, in starting roles and having to maneuver through that because of the person that he is. And then it's all
when Mike has to have sit-down conversations with guys, especially when it's guys with starting roles. So what he just did there without realizing it was announced to the world that Mike McDaniel's been having sit-down conversations with guys. Did you catch that?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a me thing. This is a team thing. And it's tough when Mike has to have sit-down conversations with guys.
Have any of them guys ever been you, Tua? I'd like to know.
In starting roles and having to maneuver through that because of the person that he is. And then it's also, it does sort of take a toll sometimes on the team. But, if you understand reasoning and you understand, sometimes that it could be for the betterment of the team or whatnot, those guys are the ones having those conversations. You're just there to support your teammate in the best way you can. I think you get a good, better big picture gauge of reasons as to why things like that have been happening or have happened.
You talk about player only meetings, stuff like that. Have you guys had all that, and how's that gone this year?
Yeah, it's been good. I like to keep all those conversations private, but I think those have definitely helped push the envelope of what we want to see as a team and what we want to do going forward.
Mentioning the other day that it was Tyreek who was kind of stressing the need for these long sustained 10, 12 play drives, going back to even exit interviews last season.
Yeah, because he played with a championship team. He knows what we need to do. Exactly.
I'm curious, what were those conversations like as you guys were sort of implementing this new style of the offense?
Well,
and it's not a new style, lady. It's football.
I wouldn't say that as we, had our exit meetings and whatnot, that this sort of was the the notion of what we wanted to evolve into as an offense.
Again, evolving into what? Executing? Because you got to realize when you're not executing, you're going 3 and out. So just by executing, you're adding more plays to a drive. It's not nothing you're involving. It's not nothing you're implementing or changing to. It's football.
It sort of took precedent given what defenses have been playing against us. That would be the reasoning as to why you see a lot more check downs, a lot more, trying to get the ball to open guys within the progression, whether it's the third, fourth, or the fifth progression. So I would say that's just been sort of like a weekly thing. Would we like to take shots? We would. But that's if they present themselves.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, and we will as soon as they
So
let
kind of a
us.
two-part question for you with regards to pass protection. One, how is the continuity of the offensive line being mostly guys from last year helps you kind of have that rapport with him? And then also Aaron Brewer, who's new, how has your communication been with him with getting protections all called out and everything on balance this year?
Yeah, it seems as if we've all played together for a while. That's what the feeling is with Aaron being in there. I mean, Brew's probably I would love to have Brew here for a long time. I love how he goes about his business. I love how we have a good relationship, how we communicate, with things that we see and whatnot. But to me, it just feels like offensively with the O-line, it just feels like we've all been playing together for such a long time. Doesn't feel like there's been a drop off anywhere.
Right. And Jermaine, you're right. Adjusting to defenses, the way the defenses are playing them. Yeah. And you have to execute doing that because we've been trying to adjust to the cover 2 shell. The problem is 11 penalties and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Not executing what we need to do in the short game. Dropping footballs at the short range when Tua is talking about the checkdowns. We've also had guys dropping those checkdowns. So yeah, that right. Of course they're taking away the big play, but we're not executing the short game for them to come out of that. And until, recently, we've kept our penalties low. You know what I mean? We had 4 against the Raiders, 1 against the Rams. Those are a big important reason to defeating that cover 2 shell.
Help you kind of understand where, vulnerabilities against certain looks can come from and how to kind of navigate openings in the pocket. Does that help you in that regard?
I would say yeah, but it's also every game is different.
But if they want to make themselves feel better by saying that they're doing something new so they don't have to excuse themselves in their bad execution for the whole year, I'll let them have it. Whatever.
And our game plan with what we want to do protection wise is also different. So that also helps with maneuvering through the pocket as well.
Just kind of piggybacking off of
done
Travis
well.
Sachs on the line. Teron's having a great year. What have you seen from him at age 33, still playing at his caliber of play?
He's a dog. There's been a lot of things that he's been dealing with injury wise, and I got a lot of respect, tremendous amount of respect for him being able to fight through those and still go out there and compete and play to protect me, to protect our backs and to protect our ball carriers. I wish I could do something to help with some of the injuries that he goes through. But just overall, dog.
How do players respond to Mike during either, on the sideline during the game, in the locker room? How do you see the interaction between him and players going? I know the Dolphins released a little mic'd up video, and it's cool to see him kind of joking and things like that on the sideline. So I'm curious from a player's perspective, what is that interaction like?
Yeah, I would say maybe to each person, maybe it looks a little different. But for me, when we're working, regardless of where we are in practice or if we're in a game, I know Mike is going to be himself. And And so for me, it sort of helps me continue to stay in the frame of mind that like, hey, we're still at work, but knowing, you know, who he is, like, it's okay to have fun, but also like stay locked in. At least for me, it is. And, you know, I just know that that's how he's going to be in practice and game days. And that's probably never going to change. Thanks, guys.
Oh, thank you. And good job the past couple of weeks, Zeus. Keep it going. Maybe you'll finally win me over. Maybe you'll finally win CCRR over. I like turtles. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. Media Miercoles. I only had Tua for you today, but Shake is just about started up. 6 o'clock. He'll be going over Gerard Mayo's comments, the opponent presser. I've got you a redirect already, ready to go. As soon as I end the stream, it's going to pop up for you to redirect right over to Shake Show. Smoke Lounge coming at you at 6 o'clock. I appreciate every one of you joining me this afternoon, this evening for a short show. Really quiet today. Not much to talk about. Got the Patriots coming in. We all know what we have to do to beat them. So hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. Donate. Do all those great things. Help support this. Help this thing grow. We're over 6,300 subscribers now. We broke that sometime this weekend. And we appreciate every one of you. So go over there, say hi to Shake for me. And I'll catch you all tomorrow. Fins up.